Today we're going to walk through the bioenergetic performance of a sample brain scan report. Scanning your brain bioenergetically is a wonderful way to pick up stressors that might be bringing your performance down or changing the way you behave or think. When you remember that the brain is the command center of the body, nurturing its health becomes forefront and seriously important. When you bioenergetically test your brain, 11 areas will be assessed. You will see that there's color codes that will show any areas of weakness, chronic weakness, or no stress. So blue is considered to be balanced, and as you go down the color scale, there will be more and more stress depicted in certain areas of the brain. Every brain will look different, and every section will have a different level of stress. And all the sections of the brain are listed at the bottom of the first page, and you can see a number value depicting the stress. Your report will go even deeper into the stressed regions of the brain. So if there is no stress in your prefrontal cortex, you will still get an explanation as to what this area of the brain does. So if things shift for you, if you have trouble making decisions or planning things or just keeping your attention focused, then you might start to wonder if your executive functioning is suffering or being stressed by something. Here we see a stressed area of the brain in this report, the temporal lobes. So any area that is stressed will have an explanation of that area of the brain, what it's doing, what it's involved with, but it will also have what things may look like for you if you're out of balance. Are you experiencing emotional swings? Do you feel more irritable? Do you feel a little more panicky? When your brain is out of balance, we want to give you some tips, some tricks, and some nutritional support, some action to be able to support that part of your brain. Something like meditation is helpful for many areas of the brain. We do know that it can help change the brain in a positive manner and induce this plasticity of the brain. We have some suggestions for diet. Take a look and whether or not you have too many carbs in your diet, which can be a little bit negative for the brain for blood sugar, or do you need more good fats? Every report will look different because there will be different sections of the brain that will show up with stress. But not to worry, not only will each area give an explanation of what it could be like to have that area imbalanced, you will get some action tips, you will get some suggestions to keep balancing your brain section by section. Now we're going to move off the physical sections of the brain and look at something called neurotransmitters. These are defined as chemicals that are released by nerve cells in the brain and in the nervous system, and they play a role in sending messages, in communicating throughout the body with each other and with all the cells and other hormones. So for your bioenergetic test, your samples will be measured against things like serotonin, dopamine, GABA, and acetylcholine. And out of these, the top most bioenergetic stressed neurotransmitter will show up. And in this example, we see serotonin. Serotonin is known as a feel-good hormone. And so there will be some suggestions that will help you to balance this naturally. We think of food sensitivities as affecting the digestive system, and we don't always think of how they can affect the brain, which they can via the digestive system, but also on their own. So something like alcohol, we know, has a huge effect on the brain. It can shrink parts of the brain, it can kill blood cells, and it can just short-term take away judgment and coordination and leave people at risk. Alcohol will also change the blood sugar of the brain and the body, and this can have a long-term effect on the cognition or health of the brain itself. When you see your energetic sensitivities on your brain scan, you will see a list of foods and one environmental factor. Everything from dyes to sugars like corn syrup, even MSG, and high allergen foods like corn and soy and milk and gluten, peanuts, and so on. The suggestion would be to try and avoid these foods as best you can to help your brain stay balanced and you feel like you're at your best performance. We cannot negate the role of hormones in the brain, so these are part of your bioenergetic test as well. They're very important for brain health and body health, but they're also messengers. They talk to each other and different parts of the body as well. So you will be tested against things like DHEA, which is a parent hormone making other hormones, cortisol, estrogen, insulin, melatonin, progesterone, thyroid hormones, and even testosterone. We will identify your top 3 bioenergetic bioenergetically imbalanced hormones and give you some quick tips to see how you can balance these hormones for yourself. A very important section on your bioenergetic brain test is stress factors. There are so many things, both chemically, physically, even emotionally, that can stress the brain. Things like dental fillings, which may come from mercury amalgam, those are still out there, that can stress the brain. And lo and behold, this person had dental issues noted on this report. This person happened to be a dental assistant and worked for years in dentistry when silver fillings were still all the rage. But it isn't always dental materials or fillings that can cause issues. When we see dental issues here, this can relate to certain bacteria that might affect the brain as well. There are so many things, as we've mentioned, including injury, not being able to sleep, medications or even depressants like alcohol, and even virulent bacteria that come from insects that might stress the brain. For deeper insights into toxins, consider taking a peek at our full scan video on this channel. There is a detailed toxin panel on there as well. And many people pair both the complete bioenergetic body assessment scan and the brain test together. How can we talk about the brain without talking about emotions? Emotions are assessed in your bioenergetic test here because they can take a toll on your physical health. If you feel emotionally blocked, you might feel extremely tired or unmotivated. And these blockages can contribute to all of the other struggles our body may have. We will assess your hair and saliva for over 30 emotional blocks, and the top 3 will be laid out in your report. They're also in the order of which is the most important to tackle. As you can see, this person really struggles with calmness. Those steps may be using an affirmation, perhaps an herbal tincture, or even meditation. This is where keeping a journal to work through your brain health journey can be really helpful so that you can take note of all the tiny little shifts that are happening as you use the tips and the remedies and the support from your practitioner. At the end, you'll see balancing support suggestions that may include vagus nerve stimulation, maybe even something as simple as getting out in the sun. Many of us are so sunshine deprived. We know that when we get outside, our mood can change drastically. Your support suggestions will be laid out with the top 3 important ones for you to consider. Something like chiropractic treatment or acupuncture or even some full spectrum light could go a long way in supporting your brain. Remedies are considered support as well. A custom balanced remedy plan will be laid out for you, tested against your hair and saliva for balance. Talk to your practitioner to decide what is right for you. You may see something nutritionally. If your diet is lacking, perhaps that is the place that you need to start by supporting your brain from the ground up with what you're eating or how you're supporting your digestion. Look for a remedy that might be related to that neurotransmitter. On this report, there was low serotonin. 5-HTP supports serotonin, relaxation, better sleep, and even the brain itself. You will find as you walk through these balancing support systems with your practitioner that you will learn so much about your nutritional status, the stress on your brain, and all the things that you could do to incorporate brain health as part of your wellness routine, your self-care routine. We wish you all the best on your journey, and we want you to take care of your brain.